The Balmain side, they're okay. Canterbury's right. We're away. Farah kicks off for Canterbury. Straight into the in-goal area. Now let's see who'll have the make the first TV tackle. Well, Darren Curry it was. TV tackle. First one for 1989. And solid defence from the Bulldogs straight away. 10 metres out from the Balmain line. Brooks will play it 12 metres out. Elias. How often have we seen him do this? From dummy half, looking for the touch line. And he's going to be so close. And he, well, I thought that Robin Thorne may have put in touch, but the touch judge didn't see it that way.
It was near as damn it, wasn't it? Look at this. Just look. Oh, I think his foot may have just touched the line.
Yes.
If he touched the line, he was out, but the touch judge was very, very sentimental on that occasion.
So the Bulldogs on their own quarter line. Here comes Brandon Lee. Ed Med's there to take him. Maguire to assist. Thomas dummy half. Gee, those hits.
I think they'll slow down a little bit as the game progresses. They're going mad at it at the moment.
Farah did well to juggle that. But the defence brings him down just outside the Canterbury quarter. Last tackle signal for the Bulldogs. Down for Gary Jack. First touch of the football, and he's beaten the first tackle again. Looks for support from Gartner. And Gartner caught in a high tackle. Penalty. Penalty has gone to Balmain.
A bit of pushing and shoving going on there at the moment. The Canterbury forwards, I think, were leading up to that from a couple of rucks back. They were patently offside on that occasion, but there was the occasion when the referee looked at them only 2 rucks ago, and they were, in my view, about 2 or 3 metres offside.
What a great start by Gary Jack. First touch of the football, and he beat the first tackle. Here's Gartner now. 11 metres out from the Canterbury line. Elias, dummy half away to Ed Med. Defence swarms in on him, but he's 10 metres out. Tiger chant goes up from the crowd. Elias from dummy half turns it back inside to Pearce. Pearce 8 metres out from the Canterbury line. Away goes Brooks. Fallen on by Canterbury. It was Setri who fell on it. Thomas got a pass away to Heggett. One of the late changes in the Canterbury side. Now the Bulldogs try to work this out of the danger area. Brandon Lee takes it up to the quarter line. Now for Farah, looking for touch. Bouncing away from the touch line. Gary Jack is there. Plenty of Canterbury defenders there for him as well. But able to slip the pass away to Tony Chalmers. Familiar ground for Chalmers. Gee whiz, he's played many games for Parramatta here.
That's 2 occasions that Gary Jack has given a perfectly timed pass. I know his winger didn't have anywhere to go on that occasion, but the fact is that Jack, I thought, one of the weaknesses in his game was not being able to link with supports. He just goes on his own. That's 2 occasions in the opening couple of minutes he's given passes, and that's good.
Well, Balmain come up with the penalty again. And Jack kicking for touch and finding it just on the halfway mark. Some familiar faces there from the Canterbury side, not playing tonight. Terry Lamb, Jason Alcham was alongside him. Now Elias for the restart on the halfway mark. Chalmers. Elias again, back inside for Ed Med. Lost the ball. Or did he pass the ball, in fact? Maguire links up with Sirinen. Sirinen's beaten the first tackle. Gee, he finished 1988 in fantastic style. I wonder if he can start 89 the same way. Here's Pearce. Back inside for Freeman. Pass was across for Brooks, he couldn't handle it. Neal's fallen on it, but the knock-on called by referee Stone. So the first scrum of 1989. No score on the board yet between Canterbury and Balmain. First scrum about to go down.
Canterbury now looking to come up with possession. They've been forced to tackle so much in this match so far. Playing into the breeze in the first half, Andrew Farah trying to take some pressure off his forward, makes a good short dash out to halfway.
Does he ever not make a short dash? He's a very strong player, one of the best in the Canterbury club, no question about that. A little bit of illegality, not failure to get away from the tackle player on the replay. They make a meal of it, don't they?
Well, they're certainly going to make a meal of it tonight with this heat. As Farah looks for touch. Canterbury with their best opportunity with the ball.
There he is. I wish we had 12 like him at Manly Warringah.
Back it comes for Thomas now. To restart. Moore, Curry. Haggis standing very wide. Canterbury trying to shift this ball straight across the field. Kevin Moore again. Curry. This time for Davies, who was standing very, very flat-footed in two play of the balls. They've taken the ball right across to the other side. The dummy from Thorne ran behind Brandon Lee. Didn't really impede there through a Shepherd. Wrestled to the ground by Brooks. Moore again. He was Canterbury Bankstown's reserve grade player of the year in 1988. Tunks on the blind side. Tries to keep the ball alive, loses it. Balmain come up with possession. Cheer goes up from the Tigers crowd. Gartner. Taken by Tuggs. Balmain with a good opportunity early, Bill Anderson, to go for goal. They decided not to.
Well, they haven't got a recognised goal kicker really, Graham. They've lost Ross Coleman, and while Benny Elias was a kicker as a schoolboy, he hasn't had much practice for a couple of years.
Well, an easy ball put down by Edmed.
Yes, big Steve Edmed not really concentrating hard enough on that one, and the ball went in, hit him on the chest and came out. He'll have to sharpen himself up.
Something you'll see a hell of a lot in the early months of rugby league. With those warm temperatures, the amount of sweat they get on their jumpers, the ball just like soap going through their hands. Curry tries to beat Neil on the inside, can't do so. More at dummy half. For Haggith, the ball for Setri. Already Canterbury may be looking, as I mentioned, for that organiser around the rucks. Farah pushes off Elias. Rushes through the tackle of Brooks, stands, unloads back to Moore. Went back, says Mick Stone. Lee to Setri. Just popped that up for Sirinen, who said thanks very much. Tries to bust off two tackles. And Canterbury swarm in on the big man. Canterbury a mile offside behind Mick Stone. He had no room to move there whatsoever, Freeman. Edmed hangs on to this one. This time Stone catches them. Again inside the 5. So plenty of early penalties for the Tigers to get themselves again into good position. And Jack with a fine kick. Drop punt. Only about 17 metres out from the Canterbury line. Elias. Freeman. Neil. Goes out to Parrish. They go blindside. It was a dummy run. This time Edmed again. Canterbury defence solid and holding. Elias, the flick pass back for Sirinen. Didn't take him long to look for him. And Freeman wrapped up very quickly by Dunn. This defence still swarming in from Canterbury. Maguire. Elias, beautiful ball for Neil. Through a half gap that closed just in time. Elias again. Freeman, the little chip kick into the in goal. In fact, it'll find the touchline and come back for the scrum.
Yes, this was a neat little kick there. Just popped in behind the defence. It was always going to go over the sideline. There was not much doubt about that, but it was well contrived.
Well, this is the new rule that we're seeing being played tonight, 5-metre rule with regards to scrums. Billy Anderson, you might like to explain it a little more.
Well, yes, Ian. Now both back lines have to be back 5 metres from scrums, and also there's another rule for the 89 season, and that is that now on the 6th tackle with any infringement, it's a handover unless you find touch from general play with a kick. So that should certainly speed up rugby league in 1989.
Speaking of speed, this game has been played at a hectic pace. You'd never guess it was the first game of the year. Peter Langmack, or Paul Langmack, I should say, watching intently the Canterbury reserves. Now it's back for Farah. ball bouncing awkwardly for Jack. 15 metres out from his own line by the time he got it. Takes it over the quarter line. Chalmers.
He'd feel at home up here, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would. Edmed beat one. Gee, I think he's built up a fair bit during the off-season, Edmed.
I would reckon about at least a couple of stone by the look of him. He was a large frame, but not much meat on him last year. But by heavens, he's a big man now.
Sure is. Well, on the halfway mark, Canterbury player getting involved accidentally. Stone allows it to continue, and that ball is going to go touching goal.
Well, Benny shakes his head. He didn't enjoy the kick, but it was all but the result a very good kick. Only missed the corner flag by, well, 2 or 3 metres.
So Canterbury to restart from the quarter line. We have no score to report to you. Canterbury and Balmain locked. Scoreless. Thomas with the restart. Just 30 metres out now. Oh, misunderstanding there. Balmain have come up with it. It was Brooksy who fell on it. And here's Maguire. Takes it up to the quarter line again. Elias showing it to a couple of players, electing to take the tackle on his own. By the time he's brought down, he's only about 12 metres out from the Canterbury line. Freeman has gone to dummy half, across to Neil, then to Gary Jack. Jack comes back the other way, up to the 10-metre mark again. Elias controlling play around the rucks. The penalty's gone to Balmain right in front.
Yes, they're flirting with danger here, the Canterbury side. They are infringing fairly regularly in the offside stakes, and referee Stone is starting to pour on a little bit of penalties Balmain's way. Of course, they don't have Ross Cotter to kick goals for them this year.
No, but they do have David Brooks, who on occasions can kick them from anywhere. Doesn't have the consistency, of course, that Conlon has.
I think you can kick that goal.
Nah. Certainly a very easy 2 points from this crowd that is really enjoying this first up game of football for 1989. Gee, that crowd has built up on the shaded side, hasn't it?
Yes, it's a section of the crowd from the stand in which we're calling, and the cameras are in position. And it's a good one.
So Brooks about in line with the left hand upright. Just about on the 10-metre mark. Should put first point on the board. He's done just that. So Balmain put first points on the board. It's Balmain 2 and Canterbury nothing.
On the charge, 2-0 down they are against Balmain. 5 metres out now, the Bulldogs storming back after a handling lapse from the Tigers. The dummy from Thomas. It was nearly taken. Right underneath the crossbar. Curry reverses play to Moore. Well read by Michael Neal. Curry again. The kick into the in goal. Looks as though it might be too far. No, Balmain will have to force it. So the pressure will be maintained.
Yes, a nice little kick, a low trajectory kick, went into the in goal. Curry was the man that put it there, but the Balmain wing three-quarter, number 5 there, Tony Chalmers, was able to get to it and ground it. So a near thing.
Jack with a restart. Monster of a drop kick. Some 60 metres on the fly. It's a terrific kick. Now he needs some chases. Freeman's down there quickly. Davies brings it back strongly. Tries to run through Freeman. It took him well. Farah been coming very close to the action in search of the ball. He's had the ball stolen. 6 more. Says it came off Maguire. Thomas for Dunn. Pass look forward to Setri. Now he's knocked it on. It'll come back for the scrum.
They're having some trouble sustaining the pressure, Canterbury. They've got a new look pack today. There are 3 out of their pack. Setri's in there, Haygarth is in there, Brandon Lee's in there. They're all good players, but they've not worked together as frequently as the other pack, the Langmack, the Folks pack.
Well, that's the big 3 they're missing. Langmack.
Here goes Freeman down the blind. He gets outside his man.
Thorne came again. He stumbled, Freeman, as he threw the dummy. Gets up and says a few words. Sirenen taken on by Touch as the big men come together again. Elias. Neil. Edmed. Similarly, he was standing very, very flat. He wasn't charging onto the ball, making it a lot easier for the Canterbury defence. Freeman. Neil. Good cut out pass to Jack. Looks for Gardner. He's taken into touch. Didn't have much room to move.
Well, the interesting thing for me is that Gary Jack is the man that's giving the ball. Now, that wasn't, again, his wing three-quarter wasn't in a perfect position to receive a pass, but I like to see this. This is Gary Jack starting to play what I consider very intelligent football.
Good push coming from Balmain against the feed. Canterbury still come up with it, though. Davies manages to gain 10 or 12 metres. Kevin Moore straight out of dummy half. And Jack brings off the tackle. Freeman has dropped back to the fullback position. Lee. Much better for Canterbury. Somebody coming onto the ball nice and hard. Dunn. Push back in defence.
Yes, I think we've got Johnny Croucher with us at the moment. And John, you're the footy tab man, and welcome to the first telecast. Can you give us some information?
I certainly can, Rex. We've got $12,000 in the pick to score dividend pool, and Balmain are hot favourites to win this. About 70% of the entries, in fact, have selected them to win. It's just interesting to note just how close these two teams are. In the 104 times they've played in the Premiership, the Tigers have won 53 and Bulldogs 48.
Here goes Jack again. He finds Freeman. Neil, well, the pass went astray. Canterbury counter-attack through Davies. So it's Gary Jack, certainly heavily involved for the Tigers.
And the fourth time he's passed it.
Moore. Jink and a dummy from Curry. Balmain are very quick out wide. Tunks. Great defence from Brooks. We've got a touch judge coming in.
Yes, that was a fine stop by Brooks, but I think he got a little bit enthusiastic, or rather Bruce Maguire's the guy that's being cautioned. But there was a very, very strong hit by a little bit of elbow there by Tuxie. He's being spoken to as well. See it again. Now look at this. There's the tackle coming in from David Brooks. Maguire's there standing over the top, and Tunks did use a little elbow.
It's got to go against Canterbury. Well, it's gone that way. Gone that way.
He had awarded the penalty.
Yeah. Well, they were laying on him. Very surprising when the touch judge came in. Farah. Down to the quarter line they go. Thomas for Lee. Simple stuff. Manages a good game, though. Almost the entire Canterbury sideline across to the right. Well, Elias went for the intercept. Dragged in by Haggett. They go blindside now. Curry again. Well, another dangerous pass. Tunks has got it. He's got some galloping room. He gets it back for Thomas. Long ball out for Elia. Just about his first touch. And a real pressure ball he threw too. His New Zealand teammate Freeman picks it up. They have a wrestling match. And now the pressure off for Balmain.
Yes, and the Tigers have certainly been under plenty of pressure. Because the Bulldogs were just starting to get a roll on, weren't they? Well, the scrums have favoured Canterbury 4-1, penalties 4-2 in favour of Balmain. And Chalmers is trying to wrestle his way up towards the halfway mark. Now for Elias. That kick is going to fine touch. Hung in the air, was just a matter of which way it was going to bounce, and it bounced the right way for Elias.
You see this again. This is a class bit of kicking from a classy little footballer. Benny Elias is the man. He's made a gain of about 28-30 metres up the sideline there. And if he can keep doing that all day, well, it'll keep turning the Canterbury forwards around, tiring them out. It's good stuff.
And you can see the shadows from the Cronin grandstand and from the grandstand on the side that we're broadcasting from. Really right across the field. Oh, a little knock on there.
And you see Canterbury can't sustain pressure at the moment. They're not able to keep the ball beyond 2 or 3 tackles. Here's a simple little knock on. Look at this. dear.
Kevin Moore, the offender. Balmain get the scrum feed just inside the Canterbury quarter. Here's Neil. Now Parrish.
Good one.
Beat one, got over the quarter line again. Beat Elia, who doesn't look all that comfortable, I must say, in the early stages. Parrish again makes him 10 metres or so. He's about 10 metres out now from the Canterbury line. Elias, a dummy to Edmed, went on his own. 4 metres out from the Canterbury line. Brooks got it away to Neil. Now to Gary Jack. A short pass for Seranan. The big man is brought down 3 or 4 metres out.
It was a timely tackle from Tunks.
And then a mistake from Gary Jack.
Yes, what a very important tackle that was from Tunks there to get Seranan down. But there was an awful pass. It went out very low. And Jack was unable to handle it.
Kevin Moore feeds and Canterbury win the ball. 10 metres out from their own line. 2-0. Balmain over Canterbury. Davies plays it. Now Mason. Oh dear. Setri having trouble with his hands tonight as well. He's put the ball down on a number of occasions.
Yes, there more than one of the Canterbury forwards is having trouble with his hands.
I suppose first game of the year, you've got to expect these sort of things. Timing not quite right.
Here's a try.
Oh, here's a try. This has got to be a try. Freeman away to Gartner, and Balmain will score. Russell Gartner in for the first try for the Balmain Tigers.
Yes, well, that was a bit of an anticlimax, really. It just opened up. I called the try at the background there before anyone came and scored it. Gartner just got the pass there. It was a sinecure. He just had to put the ball down. There was somebody not in position there. It came out there to Freeman. Freeman, well, I don't know who's not at home there. Somebody in the centres is not at home. Is it a liar?
Well, in actual fact, I think, Rex, you'll find that Peter Davies on a massive blindside. The fullback should have been standing down there. He went open side. He only left the winger and a halfback to cover some 20 metres.
Well, yes, they should have. They should split the centres in a situation like that, or Davies should come in the fullback and make a. He's got to make an attempt to get somebody. Somebody's got to finish on the ground.
The veteran, Russell Gartner.
Yes, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I wish I knew what he was taking. I'd like to buy a gross of it. He's still getting his tries. He's still running as fast as he ever ran.
Scored 5 tries last year.
And I promise you he's over 40. Well, that's a slight exaggeration. He's 32 or 3.
So David Brooks has it placed about 8 metres in from the touchline. Let's see what he can do with this one. Swinging around nicely. I like it, I like it. Right between the posts. Great kick from Brooks. And Balmain shoot further ahead. Balmain 8 and Canterbury 0.
But he's going to have trouble getting out of there. He beats Gartner, does it well. Gets back upfield and he'll bring this out near the quarter line.
Good run.
So good stuff from Thorne after making a mistake in his own end goal. Lee. The handling error surprisingly going against Balmain. Canterbury making them in more dangerous areas of the field, namely their own quarter line. It's cost them dearly. Moore. Setri. Well, again, standing very, very flat. Thomas for Farah. Trying to get out of there. Trying for a ball around the back. Saw it wasn't on and hung on to it. Curry. The kick for touch. He'll find it too down near the Balmain quarter line.
Yes, another smart kick there by Curry to make a bit of ground for the rather beleaguered Canterbury side at the moment, who are looking fairly ordinary.
As we said, the first of many coming your way in 89 and 10 sports action, the Panasonic Cup. The first game of 89 Wednesday, the 1st of March. And then, of course, the Nissan Sevens here at the stadium Saturday, the 4th of March. It's going to be a great week. Dunn. Serena hitting well. He managed to stand. Give the ball away for Curry. Now for Farah through the dummy. Stood. Setri manages to hang on to this one. Back for Thomas. Always looking to keep the ball alive, but putting themselves under a lot of pressure with some of the passes. Lee. Still going. Benny Elias rides him. Thomas for Moore. Back for Setri. About 8 metres out, Canterbury. Haven't been able to look dangerous when they've gotten to this part of the field. In goal. Curry, well, was he onside? Mick Stone says he was.
Yes.
Great kick from Kevin Moore.
I think you raised the doubt in everyone's mind there, Graham. I believe he was offside when the kick was put on. That shot's not going to tell us. Perhaps he was line ball. It's a try anyway. Look at it in the light the referee's seen it. But I suspect that he was offside, just marginally offside at the point that the kick was taken. And unfortunately, we just can't get a camera angle to prove or disprove. Anyway, coming out of it, it's a try to Darren Curry.
Playing 5'8" tonight. Man who's played most of his football in the centres. Of course, he'll be wearing a smile. But also, Kevin Moore will be too. So will be the chief executive of the Bulldogs. The proud father, Peter Moore. Gary Jack has come sideline for some attention to an arm. I guess you would say to steal a line there, and one of the more colourful Canterbury Bankstown players of 1989, Bal Mapo.
It is a bright shirt.
Welcome to Sydney. Wayne Pearce looking daggers, allowing Canterbury Bankstown back in so quickly. Farah from out wide with his kick. Man who certainly played some great football last season and finally made his way into an Australian jumper. Plenty of concentration. Has he got the direction to go with it? He certainly has. It's a great kick. Canterbury Bankstown now back into it. Balmain 8, the Bulldogs 6. In the Alfa Romeo challenge. And Mick Stone arguing the point with Canterbury about not being back 5 metres from the scrum. Somebody's had something to say too. Andrew Farah has tried to chip Mick Stone. Of course, this won't be a kick for goal. And we also welcome to replacement on the sideline, Bill Anderson.
It's Grant Ellis wearing number 28. He'll be taking the place of Brandon Lee.
Then Elias gets us underway. As I said, we welcome viewers from Canberra on CTC. Nice to have you with us for this first match. Intense sports action. Elias through the dummy. He's been allowed to get away with that once or twice already in this match. Freeman for Brooks. Doubles around. Tries the dummy himself. Nowhere to go. 11 metres out. Elias for Pearce. Did well to bust 2 tackles. Well, the pass was headed for Pobji, and luckily for Canterbury, Robin Thorne was there to take it.
Yes, the golden opportunity here. It's unfortunately for Wayne Pearce, he got tackled just at the moment of giving the football, and it went slightly misdirected.
So Canterbury now to work it away from their own quarter line. Bill Anderson, no Langmack, Folks, Gillespie. You can add to that Mortimer from last year, and also Tony Curry and Michael Hagan. Did you expect the scores to be this close just before half-time?
No, Graham, really I didn't, but I must say that the fact Canterbury have only got 6 players here from their grand finalists obviously meant that they're going to lack a bit of cohesion, but they're not going too badly, everything considered. Just on that replacement, Graham, Grant Ellis is going on for Brandon Lee. Under the rules we're using, it's interchange. The clubs can only use 4 players, but they can put them on and off as often as they like.
Okay, good on you, Bill. Now Chalmers will play it just about on the halfway mark. Here's Ed Med. Just inside Canterbury's half now. Sirenen. On the way to Harry Freeman. Tunks there to stop him. Maguire. Last tackle. Hello, there's been another change down there, Bill.
Yes, Michael Moss in number 4 taking the place of Gary Jack. I hope it's not bad news for Balmain, but Jack was clutching his arm.
We might check on that, Bill, if you wouldn't mind. That is an important change. We'll keep a close watch on that. Gary Jack off, holding his arm. Michael Moss at fullback for Balmain. Now here are the Bulldogs. It's done. He's caught 35 metres out from his own line. Here comes Tunks. Maguire there. Gee, that's a solid hit.
Head on, he's good.
Oh. Just like hitting a brick wall. Farah, the little kick through. Curry's chasing it, but Chalmers is there first. And he's put down 32 metres out from his own line. Michael Moss will have first touch of the football. Moss trying to thread his way through. 9 metres from the halfway mark. Here's Edmed. Curry has him. Right on halfway. Elias links up with Pearce. Done the tackler. Elias again. Try to get around the back of Robin Thorne. This ball is just going to find touch. Great kick from Elias.
Yes, he's got it on a string, the little fella, the Australian hooker. Vinny Elias gets a right foot low trajectory kick in. It's given him or his team an advantage of about 22 metres, and beautifully judged, right over the sideline, only about 5 metres out from the corner post.
So the scrum to be worked by Kevin Moore. Gone with the feed. Pearce takes him 10 metres out from the Canterbury line. Eight points to 6. Balmain over Canterbury. Alfa Romeo Shield. Setri. Now Tunks. Just a reminder that all pro a change of possession. A quick reminder, all proceeds tonight going to 3 very good charities. Prince of Wales Hospital Paediatrics Research, the Autistic Children's School at Randwick, and Polio Plus, a worldwide immunisation project, all benefiting from the proceeds of this Alfa Romeo trophy. Now here's Neil. Away to Moss. Just inside the Canterbury quarter. There's the big blocker. Back from England. Waiting to come on. Might try and get a word with him later. Last tackle. Freeman. It's linked up with Siren on the way to Chalmers, and Chalmers scores in the corner.
Yeah, a very smart try. That beautiful hands from Suriname to get the ball away. The ball virtually didn't really touch his hands. He just gave it and spread the ball along the line. There it was with little Freeman getting the pass away to Suriname. See that lovely quick hands there from Suriname on to Tony Chalmers, and Chalmers in for the try. Just watch Suriname again. This is what the art of rugby league's all about. Giving the pass in one movement. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If he's got that additional skill in his kit bag this year, he'll go a long, long way.
Tony Chalmers, first game with Balmain after leaving Parramatta. Only scored 3 tries in 88 for Parramatta, but I don't think Parra scored all that many themselves, did they?
No, they didn't, and they were very loath to lose him too. There was some, shall we say, nastiness in the transfer. He's a valuable player, and I think they were pretty unhappy about him going away from them. Brooks going to have a kick from wide out.
Yeah, perfect record tonight so far, 2 from 2. But gee, Paul Sirenin, you know, I mentioned earlier, he finished last year in grand style. Re-signed with Balmain, but he started this season terrific, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Did I ever tell you about my goal-kicking career?
No. Oh, not again. I tell you what, the only thing you haven't told me is that it has improved since last year, I'll bet.
No, it hasn't improved since last year. It's still 1 from 1. I thought that was the time to finish.
Okay, as David Brooks prepares his kick, what's the word on Gary Jack, Bill?
Well, the word from the dressing room is that Gary Jack's injured his forearm. He is going to hospital now for a precautionary x-ray.
Oh, gee. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it's okay. Now, here's Brooks. Almost from the touchline. Hits it particularly well. What a great kick. Oh, David Brooks takes Balmain to 14-6 over Canterbury. Oh, gee, they lost Conlon, but...
yeah, they've got Brooks.
Well, I've seen him kick as well as this before, but to be fair, he's not as consistent as Conlon might have been. But look at this, perfect kick.
And struck it absolutely beautifully. The ball, well, actually, it's not oscillating as well as it should do, but it's certainly got the direction. And the touch judges had their flags up very smartly.
That's a great kick-off too. found touch only 15 metres out.
Sirenen tried to trap it with his foot and made a bit of a meal of it, but that's the big fella trying to get his foot down to it.
Was that one oscillating properly?
That was oscillating, perhaps not quite on the parabola, but there you are.
Do you get any more points if it oscillates better? Balmain come up with the scrum win. Gartner got it away to Neil. Just further to Sirenen, talking about how well he's playing. He's the leading tackler for Balmain. So he's figuring in this game right through. Maguire. Andrew Farris come up with a clash of heads with McNeil. They seem to be okay. Now, Freeman at dummy half just outside the Balmain quarter. Here's Ed Med. Got through the first tackle again, the big fella. 10 metres from halfway. It's the last tackle for Balmain. Elias content to put this straight downfield. Nissen comes across field before he's pulled down by Povji. Warren Bryan ready to go into the room for his half-time chat. Because half-time is getting very close. He won't be all that unhappy with that scoreline, 14-6. Canterbury come up with the football here. Setry's lost it behind him. No, it wasn't Setry, I beg your pardon. It was Ellis, the replacement. Tunks, flick pass. Davies will play it. There's the Canterbury coach, Phil Gould. As the half-time siren sounds, referee Stone blows half-time with the scoreline, Balmain 14 and Canterbury 6. We'll take a break and we'll be back live from the Parramatta Stadium. Back to the Parramatta Stadium with that scoreline, Balmain 14 and Canterbury 6. And we have some changes in the Canterbury side. Bill Anderson.
Yes, changes for Canterbury Bankstown. 3 of them, in fact, Dean. Brandon Lee in number 10 goes back on for Paul Dunn. Darren McCarthy in number 29 for Andrew Farrer. And Greg Mackey, the former Illawarra and South Sydney player, in 20, takes the place of Kevin Moore. No changes for the Tigers.
Thanks, Bill. And don't forget that Gary Jack has been taken to hospital for precautionary check on an injured arm. And Michael Moss playing fullback for the Tigers. Now, Ellis, just 30-odd metres out from his own line. Brandon Lee, caught by Gary Freeman. Here's Michael Moss waiting for this kick. Oh, geez, having awful trouble picking it up, Moss. Dear, oh dear, he almost cost him a try.
Have a look at this. This is a fullback going through trauma. Now, he took it all too casually, took it a little bit casually there, knocked it with his foot, scrambled around, and all the time this player was coming through on him, Darren Curry, and that's as near as damn it to being a try.
Yes, well,
the pain of it all, he said.
Dear, oh dear. Gary Jackie 8. Now, here's Davies. It's a lanky fullback. Almost got through the first tackle. He's, in fact, a former Balmain player, Davies. Trying to crib a couple of extra metres. It might have been a little unkind to say that, but it looked like it. Ellis lost the ball behind him. Elias has jumped on it for the Tigers. Freeman got it pass away to Pearce. Be a big year for Ben Elias over this year and next year. We'll talk around that he may well be New South Wales captain in State of Origin football. Certainly playing very well tonight, as is that man, Paul Sirenen. Quick hands, finds Parrish. Oh, gee, I thought he lost that. In fact, he has lost it now. And referee Stone will call the knock on.
Well, Matt Parrish does a juggling act here, as you can see. Finally retains the ball, utterly comes to the defenders, then they strip it from him. And Joey Thomas was the man there that stripped it, and Canterbury have come up with the scrum lead.
Mackey worked the scrum and gave it away to Curry. Curry saw daylight. He's got support too. Away it goes. And Elia
was just wondering how long it would be before this Darren Curry was able to make a bust, because there's been a slight opening coming out there in the Balmain side. He was able to get the pass away nicely to Mark Elia, the New Zealander. There he is, striding out, big strapping fella, not unlike Williams from Manly, both Maoris. But there it was, the little thing there. I was just going to say to you a little while ago that I thought Neil was having a quiet game for him, as if he were maybe knocked up or something or other. But there's Elia going in for a good try. And all as a result of Darren Curry making a good bust on the inside.
Well, Elia, I thought, looked a little uncomfortable in the first 20 minutes or so of this game. That's understandable, of course. First game in the new club. And that will do his confidence a tremendous amount of good. Darren McCarthy taking over goal-kicking duties. And he has this about 15 metres out and just outside the left-hand upright. Kevin Hardwick talking to Coach Ryan. Keith Barnes in the background.
Why do I think of Buffalo Bill Cody every time I see that fella? Can you tell me?
No, I can't. McCarthy's kick is a good one. That narrows the gap. 14-12. It's Balmain over Canterbury.
The grand final replay. The Bulldogs looking at a bit of trouble at half-time. They've come back strongly. Now Elias, Balmain in possession. Sirinen played powerfully in the first 40 minutes. Crashy runs straight into Lee. Right over the top of him, he's been trying to run tonight. To his feet now. Edmed. Been working away through their forwards most of the night, the Tigers. Elias, the man that's been calling the shots. Freeman sets up play. Well, Pearce wouldn't have thanked him for that pass. Last tackle, Elias. Mick Stones turned around and he saw the Canterbury defence just parked right behind him. Certainly no more than 2 or 3 metres back instead of 5. Right in front of the post. A gift for David Brooks. There's the kick for him. So simple. David Brooks, 3 from 3 tonight.
2 of them magnificent kicks from the sideline, one each side. They really staggered me. I had all the bias on them too. One of them went away quite dramatically in a curve to the right, just like my golf shots. But this one should be very, very simple for him, but we don't want to put the mocker on him.
It's been a big week for David Brooks, a father for the first time this week. I believe a daughter. Congratulations. David, 10 metres out. Ooh, just manages to get that across the bar. 2 more points for the Tigers. They stretch their lead, 16-12 over Canterbury. There's big Steve Roach in the tunnel, Bill, as he drew on.
Graham, he should be going on at the 30-minute mark for Steve Edmed. That is the plan if everything goes according to Hoyle.
A big blocker. A man that might really spark the Tigers into some real action in the second half. McCarthy to get the Bulldogs underway. Down for Brooks again. Moss. Can't beat the defence. Pobji has had very little to do in attack. We'll have to go looking for the ball in the second half. Elias been finding Sirinen all night. Standing very, very wide. As I mentioned before in the first half, plenty of football coming your way. The Panasonic Cup. Brisbane up against the Canberra Raiders. The first match of the year there. And then, of course, the Nissan Sevens. South Sydney out to defend their title that they won last year, Saturday the 4th of March. Great first week of March coming up. Canterbury with it. Elia stands, looks to unload, gets it back for Nissan. 32 metres out, the Bulldogs. Working it away quietly through their forwards. Mackie trying to set up his supports. Now Tunks. game, slowing just a little bit in pace after all the heat of the first 40 minutes. The sun's gone down. There's quite a breeze out there now. Cooled down dramatically. Mackie. Curry. Dummies. Looked for McCarthy. Couldn't unload. Taken by Sirinen. Elia, a dummy half. Races out of there. Beats two men. Can't keep his feet. On the last tackle, it goes back for Mackie. Has to change direction. Kicks straight across field. It's an open ball. If Gardner had have taken it, he elected to let it bounce. Could have been a dangerous one. And just goes dead in goal.
Here's the kick. There was never a problem with the two Canterbury players that were nearest the ball there, because both of them were way offside, and one presumes the referee would have seen that. But Gardner really took the odds to it going over the dead ball line, which it did ultimately, or the touching goal line.
So Balmain on their own quarter line with Freeman getting a pass away. 16 points to 12, the Tigers lead. Could this be some revenge from the grand final? Well, we've got about 30-odd minutes of play remaining. And that man there is about to come on. Big Steve Roach. A look at the clock, and here comes the big blocker. Steve Roach to the sideline. Balmain fans show their appreciation. And this should be the man he'll replace, Steve Edmed. Last tackle signal for Balmain. Elias got it back for Neil. It's gone behind him. Neil's kick has gone right across field. And bounced straight into Gardner's arms. Back for Neil now. He's going to have another go. This time Davies is there to cover and beats him. Now you see it, now you don't. And here comes the big blocker.
Well, Stephen Roach is on. There's the second kick of Michael Neal. He took the odds to a kick downfield on this occasion, and it found a good touch, again of about 25 metres.
Straight into the scrum, and Steve Edmed is the player being replaced. Canterbury have the scrum win. 30 metres out from the Bulldogs line. Landon Lee takes it up. Sideline is Bill Anderson with Steve Edmed.
Well, Steve, it looked fairly hot for the start of the game, but things have cooled down a bit now.
Yeah, it has cooled down a hell of a lot. It's nowhere near as hot as it was when we first went out there.
You've played trial games before. Was this one played in the same sort of spirit as a trial game, or the real thing?
I think it's a real thing. I know we're put out there to win. I think Canterbury are too, by the way they're going.
I'll let you go and have a shower, mate.
Okay, mate, thanks.
Steve Edmed with Bill Anderson. Now here's Tony Chalmers trying to weave his way through. He's on his own quarter line. His first appearance, and here comes the big blocker. First touch of the football. Takes it up strongly. Crowd give him a cheer. Freeman away to Sirinen, trying to get his arms free to offload. Couldn't do it. Caught by Mackie. Here's Elias. Away to Parrish. One-handed flick pass up for Neil. Back to Elias, on to Sirinen. Back to Elias again. Keeping the football alive, it's still there. Here's Neil. Neil got a pass back inside to Maguire, who knocked it on. Picked up by Freeman. The referee Stone saw the knock on.
And already young Mackie, the Illawarra player, this is the pass that Neil was able to gather in. Got a low pass away there, which Maguire knocked on in attempting to pick it up. And I was about to say that already, I think young Mackie, from formerly with the Illawarra club, now with Canterbury Bankstown, has made bad friends with some of the players. He's a very, I believe, a very talkative little fella. Gets through, as you'd imagine, with the red hair. Does tend to rub people up the wrong way. Well, he's got Vinny Elias in the wrong frame of mind at the moment.
So referee Stone listens to the touch judge's report. Oh, look, a full moon. Shall we sing? Okay, no songs.
We're just about to.
Mackie got it away to Curry. He's caught on the halfway mark. The former Penrith player Curry has played pretty well tonight, grabbing his opportunity with Terry Lamb not playing. Landon Lee across to Mackie. Pass that forward. It looked forward to Setri, didn't it? Setri very slow to get to his feet. Let's have a look at this.
Well, just see Setri as he goes in. I don't think there's anything illegal about it. He was really crunched down, but I don't think there are any knees or elbows in that. Oh, Roach is being called out. No, it's not. He's moved the play infield now for somebody else to play the football. Tunks does that, and they're away again.
Well, confusion on the field. Now they're right. As Ellis takes it away. Another replacement getting ready, Bill?
Yes, there's a really likely character here to go on. His name's C. Solomana. We don't know a lot about him, but he was a junior Kiwi, and Phil Gould has got huge raps on him.
See what?
C. Solomana, not C.C. Ryder.
Okay. Well, there's the man in question. Maguire brings it away for the Tigers. Setri comes to the sideline. He's in trouble, Setri. Here comes Benny Elias. He's got the kick ahead. Freeman's chasing it, and there's not many Canterbury players around. Freeman's there. A little kick from Freeman. Try! Good try to the Tigers.
Well, Benny Elias has unquestionably been one of the players of the night for Balmain. He's in grand form. He made a beautiful bust up the middle of the field, looked round left and right. I really think he could have given the option of getting the pass away to his support there, Freeman, but he didn't do it. He let Freeman go for the ball, touch it with his foot and dive over. A very, very smart, well thought out try from Benny Elias, a player who's in magnificent form, I was going to say for so early in the season, but this is the first match, believe me, that he's playing very, very classy football. Well, there it was, and there's Freeman coming along to touch it with his foot, as all good footballers will do. Didn't want to go down and bend to try to pick up a ball. Any of you kids watching, you just keep kicking the ball forward when it's rolling the right direction, as he's done there with the inside of the instep, and over you go. It's as simple as that. A good try.
Well, he scored 4 tries last year for the Tigers, and starting off well in '89.
Oh, he scored one against Manly Warringah, which was terrible. I thought that was disgusting.
Well, this is not a good-looking sight, as Paul Suranen has a cheekbone checked by the trainer. Seems to be okay.
I don't think you can kill him with an axe.
Well, here he is. The genius kicker for the night, David Brooks, 4 from 4.
Yes.
Last one was a little bit shaky, but he's kicked magnificently. And this is only 5 metres or so from the left-hand upright. Shouldn't have any trouble, so is he not wanting to put the marker on him? And he doesn't. Right between the posts for Brooksy. 5 out of 5 for him, and it's Balmain 22 leading Canterbury 12.
Back a bit of breathing space for Balmain now, but this is where they've got themselves into trouble before. After a try, they've tended to relax and let Canterbury back into the game. They've made a mistake from the kick-off. They allowed the ball to go dead. Canterbury in possession from the line drop-out. Tunks trying to twist and keep the ball alive. Plenty of defence there, though. Mackie just goes alone. Runs into Elias. He gunsloads the ball. Haggart has lost it, though. It's gone astray. Scrum will go down against Canterbury for the knock-on.
Yes, a little tiny knock-on here, as you can see. It was not well handled at all, but the pass came to him very, very high.
So Balmain with the feed. Freeman goes the blind side. Looks for Gartner. Gets out past the quarter line. Bill, impressed or unimpressed with either side tonight?
Well, I think both coaches would be impressed with the condition of their teams. They look in fine shape, but I just think that Canterbury would be a little bit concerned about their lack of cohesion. I think Mark Elia looks like a good athlete, but he's a bit lost. Sydney football's very patterned, and he just hasn't adjusted to that yet, but I think he'll make the grade.
Elias, Siranen. He's in fine form, Siranen, palming off defenders. Mackie managed to trip him into Canterbury territory now. Elias again. Roach on the charge. Straight into the defence goes the big blocker. They're trying to storm over these Canterbury tacklers. He had plenty to say when he got up to play the ball. Moss kicks straight across the park. Just sits up there for Robin Thorne. Gets around Freeman. Gets around Neal. Can't get around. He does beat Maguire. Still going. Steps inside Siranen. Ducks under a high tackle from Roach. Crowd certainly didn't like it, but the penalty's gone to Balmain for shepherding.
Tunks is querying the decision there. We'll have a look. That's the shepherd there when Mackie got in the way. He ran behind his own player. That's the point at which the referee judged him to have been shepherded. And there was a nice little swinging arm there that probably didn't get noticed all that much. It came from one blocker. Oh, it's naughty. Stop that blocker. You're a damn good footballer when you're playing straight football. But when you're playing dumb football, you're a horror.
Well, he likes to let those little wingers and halfbacks know if they want to come midfield, that's my territory. So Brooks again, this time from the quarter line, but directly in front. You certainly can't beat that. In fact, we might be a little bit unkind. He's already had a couple of great kicks from out wide.
Can he make it 6 out of 6?
Of course, before Conlon came to the Tiger territory, he was the permanent kicker with the Balmain side. Tony Elias is also there as a backup. One of the game's finest all-rounders and having a great start to 89 tonight. So Brooks just steadies now. Trying to stretch the lead again. He's certainly done it. Nice and calm as you please. 24-12, the Tigers lead the Bulldogs.
Balmain in control at the moment. And Benny Elias is dictating play around the rucks, making quite a few useful little runs himself. And look at this fella, the man mountain, Paul Sirinen, getting a one-handed pass away to Neil. Away it goes to Roach, lost it behind him. No, he did not lost it behind him at all. Lost it in front of him, said the referee.
Yes, there was a pass here that just didn't go the way Blocker wanted it. And there it was, and there's a little knock-on, tiny little one. And that's enough to bring the play to a conclusion. And Canterbury will come up with the scrum lead and the scrum win.
Yes, Mackie working a blind side with Davies. Let's check those handling errors. Well, Canterbury have made 13 compared to the Tigers' 9. And that's not too bad, you know, when you consider it's the first game of the year and the game has been played at a very, very hectic pace. So the quality of this game is first class.
Yes, well, I've got a sort of an undertaking I've made to myself that I won't ever comment people, the viewers of Sydney, about the quality of the game. If we think it's a dud game, we'll tell you it's a dud game. And here we go, and there he goes. That's a good dumping type of tackle.
Yes, we're talking about the quality of the football. If you like rugby league and you want to find out what's happening in rugby league, this is the network for you. We've got all the games for you right throughout the year. We've got the Panasonic Cup, the Winfield Cup, week in, week out. You'll see it all here. We're going to Perth for a Panasonic Cup match between Balmain and Parramatta. If you want to find out what's happening in the league world, 10 News has it all for you every night of the week. Canterbury in possession. Mackie got a pass away to Curry. Curry's made another good break. He's up to the corner line. Has he got support? Might not need it. Still going Curry. Great run from the 5'8".
Oh, yes, that was a great pity. Very, I don't know whether he attempted to offload the pass there, but it was a beautiful run by Curry. This is a first-class bit of football. Strips off one defender. We've got Russell Gardner there hanging to him. And he did try to get the pass away. It went slightly forward. It'll give Balmain a scrum lead. That's a pity.
With Buffalo Bill, Kevin Hardwick to the sideline. Ready to come on. As Curry's had a great game tonight. We understand that Hardwick will be replacing Brooks, the ace goal kicker. Elias, 10 metres out from his own line. Roach. Thomas is there to put him down. Scrums 13-6 favour Canterbury. Balmain lead the penalty count 7-3. Now the knock-on will be played. And the replacements are on, Bill.
Yes, Kevin Moore's going on for Curry, who's done a terrific job for Canterbury, and Hardwick goes on to replace Brooks for the Tigers.
David Brooks, 100% record as the kicker tonight. Certainly done his job. And
The crowd letting him know too.
And Carey, what a fine display for him in the 5'8" role. Must have pleased Phil Gould. Pobji now. Inside their own quarter line, the Tigers. They're doing it well. More penalties for Balmain. This time, Canterbury not getting off the man. Tackled.
Yes, there's the tackled player, Pobji, Michael Pobji, unable to get to his feet. There's a bit of a kick and shove at the end of it, but nonetheless it was a deliberate hold down of the player in the tackle.
Chalmers calls for the ball. Balmain quickly trying to get restarted. Elias had to go through Neil. Parrish wrapped up midfield. Billy Anderson sideline now with David Brooks.
Well, Dave, goal kicking was something you did for Balmain a few years ago, but man, you were spot on tonight.
Oh, mate, just has the luck of the draw. I didn't kick real well on Wednesday at practice, and Thursday I thought, no, I'll give it a rest, and today's just come up front, so I'm really happy.
It was a very committed Balmain team tonight.
Yeah, we made a few mistakes, and we've got to get that out of our play. We sort of trained to not make many mistakes, but there's a few creeping in now that the blokes are starting to get a bit tired.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Certainly was well done. Tunks. Had plenty of room to move there. Haggis ducked under a tackle. Unfortunately, Thomas couldn't do likewise. He was smothered by Maguire and Sirinen. Moore. Cross for Mackie. McCarthy, the run around. He dummied. Straightens up. Right up the middle. Tries to find a gap. It was closed by Hardwick and Maguire. Tunks again. Showing the ball. Stepping. Right on the quarter line on the last tackle for Canterbury. Moore. Mackie. The kick in the in goal. Moss is going to have to hurry to get across. He does that. Plenty of defence there for Canterbury. They'll come up with a line dropout.
Yes, it wasn't a bad kick, this one, because Moss was really tackled the moment he took the ball. There was plenty of defence coming there. Chalmers has got him, and Davies was there too. But thank heavens he didn't have the momentary trauma that he had a little while ago when he was handled badly. It would have made him very much a hated man at Balmain.
Elias. Get that kick out to the halfway line. It was casually taken by Davies. Back for Haggard. Wrapped up by Elias. Thomas. Lee. They need to run one out a little bit. Canterbury. Searching for somebody to get them started around the rucks. They're blindside. Thomas for Kevin Moore through half gap. Very quickly wrapped up by Hardwick. This time a penalty goes the way of Canterbury. Sirinen says, what for? The replay will show it.
I don't think there's any doubt about this. And just watch him try to get to his feet. Hardwick's got hold of him and pulls him back down again. That's what you call a professional foul.
So Canterbury not showing enough in the second half. Thomas. For Moore, for Mackie. Haggith. Again, that's a line ball, nearly overrunning the pass there. And another penalty. Quickly taken the tap by Thomas. 8 metres out. Can they lift this game and open it up into the last 10 minutes? 6 more tackles, says Mick Stone, for the Bulldogs. Thomas, Moore, goes himself. Plenty of defenders are very quick out wide. The Canterbury in a bunch now around the ruck. Really haven't got any backline set at all. Lee just charges into the defence. Now they've opened up the ground. Chance to go wide. Thomas runs straight across field, looking for runners. There's plenty of running from dummy half. Tunks. The backs want it. Mackie. McCarthy. Long ball taken by Gartner. He has an open field. He doesn't. Mackie was luckily coming across in cover. Would have been away. Freeman. Moss had support, went alone. Balmain another replacement, Bill.
Paul Clark in 23 for Bruce Maguire.
Showing their forward depth, the Tigers. Roach. Freeman. It's busy as always tonight. As has been Elias. Neil. Pearce. Fairly quiet in the start for 89 for the Balmain skipper. 24-12. They're doing it well. Elias shaped a kick. Now an opportunity again for Gardner out wide. Driven towards the sideline. Manages to stay in, but seemed to lose the ball. He did. And now Balmain make the replacement.
Yes, just a little tiny knock on. Probably the ball stripped from him in the tackle. You can see there it was. Yes, I think his Chalmers maybe who helped to get Gardner into a dropping position there.
And in front of a pretty good crowd first up at the stadium tonight, 9,200 to see this grand final replay. And Balmain this time inside the 5 metres, the backs from the scrum. Davies quickly restarts the game for Lee. Bit of time left in this game if Canterbury can score and convert. And how ironic it is that at present that scoreline, the reverse the way we finished on September 11 last year. Moore. Mackie. Little chip for himself. The bounce didn't favour him. In fact, it broke away for Wayne Pearce to dive on it for Balmain. Hardwick. Parrish. Gets up and just taps it ahead. Well, Tunks has got to be offside. And he knew it. I don't know who came off the better for that exchange, though.
Well, there it was. You saw Tunks was never onside, so he was still continually offside. Had to be penalised. He was standing beside the player as he got up to play the ball.
So Elias, who seems to have been in the game so much, continually using his name, hasn't found touch on this occasion, though. He'll try and recover the mistake by getting down there to make the tackle on Thorne. He does. So getting into last opportunities for Canterbury really to break back. Solomona. The man the Bulldogs claim is Jeffrey Robinson, reborn. Belmore way. Haggett steps inside Surin. Minus, of course, the beard and the long hair.
Well, minus the talent tonight, too. He's not been as aggressive as I remember our friend used to be. Maybe it's just not his go. He's probably trying to work himself into the play at the moment. But he hasn't shown very much in running.
Well, that ball's been stolen by Pubji. He's got support now through Hardwick. He dummies to Hardwick. There's Elias. He's trying to keep it alive. Balmain quickly on the counter-attack.
What can they do? Can they capitalise on this? Elias has gone straight ahead up to the quarter line. Takes the tackle now. Neil moves into the dummy half position. The Tigers want another try. Here's Freeman. Getting a pass away to Moss. Moss steps off the left foot. Gustav looks for support. Back for Neil. Back to Hardwick. Hardwick scores. Great Balmain try. Oh, that was good stuff.
Yes, a fantastic try. As we look at it from the quarter line, it's given away to Neil. There's the little fellow there, Freeman. Got it onto Moss, the fullback, who's taken over from the injured Gary Jack. Got it back to Neil on the outside, who flicked it. I'm not so sure that the pass didn't go forward there, but it may have come off a defending player. We'll have a look at it from the head-on shot. Just watch it again as the pass is given away there. Now here's Moss, the fullback, coming into the play. He'll get it away to Neil as Neil leaned up in support. I think it did go forward, but anyway, it was purely academic. The try has been allowed, and a good try too, a try that really had everything about it, except for the final flutter, which might have gone just 6 inches forward.
Well, that man would feel very pleased, I would think, with this effort tonight. Benny Elias taking the kicks now. This has been a very impressive performance from Balmain.
Yes, I feel that it has. I'm agreeably surprised at the way they've gone. Benny Elias has missed one.
Hits the post, no goal. So the score will remain Balmain 28 and Canterbury 12. To the Parramatta Stadium live. Final 5 minutes of this Alfa Romeo trophy, and Balmain haven't comprehensively won. It's been a great performance from the Tigers. The only part that we're not so sure about is the injury to Gary Jack, who hurt his arm in the first half and went to hospital for a precautionary check.
He just belted Neil out of the way there, and coming through after his own kick, Neil stood his ground as he had to. He doesn't have to move out of the way, so Davies gave him a gigantic push in the chest and over he went.
Well, here's a penalty against Freeman.
Shepard.
Yep, the old Shepherd.
Well, there it was. That was it. He ran behind Clark, the replacement front row forward who's come on. And the referee judged it to be a wrong thing to do.
So that injury to Gary Jack could well be the only dampener for Balmain tonight, as Phil Gould contemplates the future here. But I don't think that he would be all that disappointed with this side, because it's certainly a brand new combination that he's had to come up with tonight. And you know, certainly if you're a Canterbury supporter, I wouldn't feel all that downcast.
Well, you can't take players like Folks and Lamb and who else have they lost tonight? Gillespie, those three just for a start. You cannot take those sort of players out of a team. Expect them to go on and perform the way they usually do. And anyway, Mr. Gill has got to learn that there are, apart from winning competitions, there are losses occasionally.
Well, he'll only get one more opportunity prior to semi-final football against Balmain, because they're only scheduled to play each other once. Of course, we would expect that we'll see them in the semi-finals again. Last year was the same situation. They only played each other once prior to the finals. Well, Ed Med's on the sideline again as Canterbury try to put something together, but unfortunately for them, Haggett has lost the ball forward. Stewart is down injured. Ed Med's on the sideline to come on again as Paul Clark got a pass away which has gone astray. Stewart holding an ankle. And he's telling Ed Med that he's okay. Stewart and Elias particularly have bounced back with the same sort of form they showed us at the end of last year. Moore to Mackie, the little kick through, there's no one chasing it. Moss knocks it down, but the penalty's gone to Canterbury. Must have been an interference to the kicker. There's Mackie with a little kick through.
Yes, you can see Parrish out there in the centres knocked his man Elia out of the way. So that'll be the reason for that.
Well, that's why there were no chases. Elia tried to chase. Now Stewart comes off. Yes, Elia tried to chase that little grubber kick that was taken out of it by Parrish. Two captains. Now Thomas takes a little tap to restart. Mackie. 5 metres out, Canterbury. Balmain sticking to their guns though, holding out Brandon Lee.
So that's Solomona, the replacement player, the Ireland player that went on for the Canterbury side, to be mentioned in the same breath as Robinson. He's got to stand deeper and come onto the football.
Well, here's a try in the corner.
Yes, that's a try to Chambers.
There was an attempted intercept there by a Balmain player, and it was a very low-key affair, but it's a try for Robin Thorne.
No question about it. It's a good one. Mark Elias, the man that got the pass away out there to Chambers. And we'll see it again here. There it is, the pass away, the attempted intercept by Gardner. He loses the ball, and Chambers takes it, and that's the ball game as far as that try is concerned.
Robin Thorne, the winger. Not a spectacular affair, but it's still gets the same amount of points. Robin Thorne makes the scores a little more respectable. And the Parramatta Stadium looking magnificent as the scoreboard clock indicates time is up. Referee Stone, of course, won't blow time until McCarthy has this conversion attempt. Scored right in the corner by Chalmers. And McCarthy with the conversion attempt. It's pretty wide, and the score remains full-time score now. 28 points to 16. Balmain have got this historic match. The Panasonic Cup coming to you from Parks. Neil's